So we had a chemical tank that imploded, ended up killing 2 people, and 9 people are still missing. We're going to get over into the videos, and then, of course, we'll go over into the AI breakdown.
1 worker is dead, 9 others are still missing in Longview, Washington.
Yeah, this after a massive tank holding nearly 1 million gallons of a corrosive liquid imploded at a paper mill.
ABC's Lindsay Tuckman has the latest.
This morning, at least 1 person is dead, 9 people are unaccounted for after a chemical tank at this paper mill in Longview, Washington, ruptured. Images show the crumpled tank and vehicles flipped over and crushed. The substance in the tank is known as white liquor, a mixture of chemicals that can burn the skin or burn the lungs if inhaled.
There are families today that have lost everything, and they never will be able to get back to normal.
The 1 person confirmed dead was identified by his family as Gilbert Bernal, a grandfather whose son also worked at the mill. Efforts to find other victims have been called off because the chemicals remaining in the tank make it too volatile.
Crews are actively assessing the structural integrity of that tank and working on plans to stabilize that tank before additional recovery operations can safely proceed.
That sounds crazy. They said that the chemical is so bad, so toxic, so corrosive that it can burn the skin, the bones, and burn the lungs. That's crazy. Let's keep going.
The cause of the rupture, unclear, but the Associated Press reports the company, Nippon Dynawave, has been fined recently for health and safety violations. Several other people were rushed to the hospital after that tank ruptured, including a firefighter. Crews hope to stabilize the collapsed tank today in order to safely resume those rescue and recovery efforts. Lindsay Tuckman, ABC News.
That is the main important thing that we got to remember with rescue operations, that they got to make sure that the people trying to save them is safe as well. If it's just a hazardous material that's just possible that it can implode anytime or spread out or leak, it's going to be harder for them to get in and get to the people. Let's go over into one more video just to find out more information. This is a more recent video.
We start with new information in that deadly chemical vat rupture in Longview.
Our first responders and our emergency room workers, our nurses, and many people here have seen truly unthinkable horrors today.
When you pull up on Facebook and all you see is implosion at a mill, my mind immediately goes to, not my husband, please.
Everyone in the city's been impacted by this, whether they know it yet or not.
And in times like this, people might ask, where is God? He's to your left, he's to your right. We give our frailty over to you, Lord, because we need your strength, we need your wisdom, we need your grace in these hours.
It's going to take all of us to rebuild and get these answers.
And just into our newsroom, the death toll has risen to 2. 1 person who was transported to the hospital yesterday has died from their injuries. 8 others are hurt. 9 remain missing, as Longview Fire says recovery efforts will begin today at Nippon Dynawave Packaging. Our recovery efforts had been delayed due to safety concerns of the structural integrity of the damaged tank. It was estimated 90,000 gallons of additional chemical product remained in the tank, but an inspection has revealed the remaining product is a significantly smaller volume, allowing emergency responders to develop a plan to move forward to remove it. As individuals are recovered, they will undergo decontamination before being transported to the Cowlitz County Coroner's Office for identification and family notification. The coroner's office will release a list of names and provide a contact once all individuals have been recovered and family notifications are complete.
Now, I remember I said bones earlier. I think it can burn through skin, and then, of course, all the fibers and everything like that. So I can't imagine what the remains will look like.
Recovery crews are not expecting to find any other survivors.
The tank remains unstable, creating a dangerous situation for our personnel. Crews are actively assessing the structural integrity of that tank and working on plans to stabilize that tank before additional recovery operations can safely proceed.
As we mentioned, Longview fire officials have done an inspection of that tank and have determined it is safe to move forward and come up with a plan for them to go in and make those recovery efforts. In the meantime, investigators are still looking into what caused the tank to implode in the first place and if there's a risk of it happening again. And as efforts continue, there are also some exposure concerns for those inside. Officials say white liquor is a dangerous chemical used in the papermaking process and could give second to third degree burns if someone comes in contact with it. That is why officials said as they make those recoveries, there will be a decontamination process. Officials say there is not a direct threat to the surrounding community, but still fire officials are asking people to stay clear of water between Industrial Way and Prudential Boulevard because of a slight increase in pH levels found there. And several agencies, including the National Guard, are monitoring the air and water quality as these efforts continue. We do have some more information now about the chemical that was in that tank. It's called white liquor, and it's a chemical compound used in the papermaking process. A major component of the product is sodium hydroxide, more commonly known as lye. According to the CDC, it's incredibly corrosive, and it gets extremely hot when it gets wet. If you get it on your skin, it could cause intense third-degree burns and can cause blindness if it gets in your eyes. Inhaling vapor or dust containing the chemical is less dangerous, but it can still cause irritation and swelling in the lungs, especially for children.
Now, just with this explanation, at least my initial thinking is, because it looked like it was a rainy day out there, it sounds like either a seal ended up being damaged or worn out and water ended up getting inside the tank, and that's what, because it says it heats up with water. So as soon as water comes in contact with it, it goes up, and that's how the implosion happens. At least that's my thinking. We'll have to wait for the investigation to come out, but this is a wild situation. Let's keep going into this.
Well, the CDC says exposure cases are especially dangerous for first responders because that chemical is still active when it's on a victim's skin, and it can burn people who try to help them. And there's no way to neutralize white liquor. The CDC recommends washing the chemical off with water as soon as possible and treating the injuries afterward. The Nippon Dynawave Packaging Company was the scene of this large industrial fire in July of 2023. It burned for more than a day and prompted evacuations for people living nearby. And the Fox 12 investigates team against the facility. Records from the Washington Department of Labor and Industries shows 3 workplace safety violations at the paper mill. The most recent is from last June, with the report describing an incident when a worker's finger was cut off. According to the document, the equipment involved was moved before an inspector arrived to investigate. There have also been 2 unrelated complaints filed this year. Our investigative team is working to uncover those details. And you can count on Fox 12.
Wow. Absolutely. It's a wild situation out there, but let's get over to the AI breakdown just to find out a little bit more information about this whole situation, or see if we can learn any more details about it. So, as we know, at least 2 people are confirmed dead and 9 others have been injured, or 9 others are remaining missing and presumed dead, following a massive chemical tank explosion at the pulp and paper mill in Longview, Washington. The governor has declared an incident to be the deadliest industrial tragedy in the modern Washington state history. So the disaster occurred at 7:15 a.m. on Tuesday at the paper packing company facility. A massive 900,000 gallon industrial tank ruptured and imploded, spilling roughly 570,000 gallons of highly hazardous liquid. That's that white liquor they was talking about. So it's corrosive material, mostly has sodium hydroxide used with heat to break down the wood pulp into paper productions. 2 workers have died, including 1 victim identified by the family as Gilbert Bernal. 9 plant workers remain uncovered inside the facility. Authorities have stated that there is no hope for finding further survivors. It's got to be such a surreal thing. They haven't even confirmed or you have no confirmation. You just know your husband or your spouse is missing. And then they just release saying there is no chance for any survivors. 8 other plant employees and 1 responding firefighter were hospitalized with traumatic injuries, severe chemical burns, smoke inhalation. Several victims were transferred to a specialty burn center in Portland. So emergency response team paused search efforts overnight to safety risks, but resumed operations today. Wow. I can't imagine what's going through the victim's mind at this point. Stuff called white liquor. Something I feel like I heard a moonshine call that name before, white liquor, or white lightning. But still, in general, people work around these dangerous chemicals all the time, and you never know when something like this can happen. They have safeties and checks and things like that, but the possibility is never 0% that something like this will happen. And we end up losing, essentially, they say it's no hope for survivors, and essentially 11 people have lost their lives from this situation. It's a tragic situation, y'all, but let me know your thoughts on that situation, and let me know if you disagree with anything I said.